All right, so I want to give you guys kind of a quick breakdown on how to handle this material. So like I said, just let me steal your attention real quick, only because this is super important that you don't kill yourself. All right, so this thing that we're looking at right here, this is called an Exacto Blade. It is about 3 steps away from a scalpel. Scalpels are those things surgeons use to cut you open. This will cut you open. Get it? Awesome. All right, so for most of them, I've got these little plastic casings so you don't, hurt yourself. Not all of them, so be careful when you're reaching in to get your Exacto Blade. All right, now as you can tell, this Exacto Blade looks pretty gross. It's got some goop on it. I don't know what the heck someone was using for it. It's actually quite dull. So what we're going to want to do is the first thing we're going to learn how to change out the blade. Now, I will ask you, because it's a large class, if you feel the need that you want to change out the blade. If you find that your paper, for example, while you're cutting isn't necessarily cutting, but it's more like ripping, right? If you find that's happening, call me over. I will switch the blade up for you. But I still want you to learn how to switch out the blade, right? Because this is also a really good technique for, again, keeping things safe. So notice that this little grippy part right here, right? I can kind of like get on it, but I can twist it like so. That loosens this area, and I can pick out the blade, okay? That's all it is, okay? So there we go. I have these boxes of replaceable blades. They come in a nice stack. Shing! Right, that. Crazy. All right, so you take out the nice new blade. Obviously, watch your fingers. Now, something to think about when it comes to an Exacto Blade, right? If you think back to your history lessons, right? You can imagine like a guillotine. You guys remember those things like shing, right? So guillotines obviously super dangerous. They decapitated people. But in this particular case, the big dangerous part of an Exacto Blade is not necessarily the blade. Yes, the blade is very dangerous, and if I were to touch it, nothing's actually going to happen because I'm pushing downwards on it. It's the slicing motion that causes the cut, right? Again, if you think about a guillotine, right? A guillotine doesn't actually come down straight, right? It comes at a slight angle, right? They're always kind of tilted just slightly. The reason for that is that slight angle, as it comes down, is actually causing like a scissor motion, right? It's going to hit a piece here first and slice off somebody's head, right? So it's the slicing motion, not the blade itself. On top of that, the little front part here is really prickly, so don't touch that. That can get you. Okay, so we're going to take this now, nice loosey-goosey kind of handle, and you're going to notice in the top there's a little tiny slit. So I'm going to slide this guy right in there like so. Okay, and he just fits in just so. Okay, then I'm going to kind of push and twist at the same time. You'll get a feel for it. Okay, and there we go. He's now in there, not going anywhere. Okay, nice fresh new blade. This thing will cut through butter. Although really, to be fair, a spoon could cut through butter. So a really bad example. Maybe it could cut through anything as if it was butter. That's a much better example. All right. So, a couple things to think about, right? So we already talked about stenciling. We talked about the idea of having these multiple stencils per color, right? For the sake of your stencil, we're only doing a monocolor, a singular monochromatic piece, right? So we're not going to do this kind of two-tone stuff because we have a short amount of time for this project, unfortunately. That being said, you can still get an incredible amount of detail in your pieces. Whenever you use an Exacto Blade, right? Whenever you're using Exacto Blade, like I said, remember it's the slicing motion, right? That's the big key. So I'm going to turn the camera here real quick just so you can see exactly what's happening. You ready? Whoa! Oh! Now I sound like a ghost. Okay. So now you can see my blade a little clearer, right? Whenever you go to cut something, let's say I'm going to cut the little edge off of this triangle, right? Whenever I go to cut it, the key is this. I'm not just going to no, not doing anything. Even the little tip. No, I'm just putting air holes. That's not good, right? The key is this. What you want to do, hold it like you would a pencil, right? That's fine. However you hold a pencil, right? And you kind of poke through the paper into the mat, right? Again, remember to use a cutting board, please. Poke through so that the tip is kind of in there. You can kind of balance on it a little bit. And then all you're going to do is kind of rest your hand. It doesn't need to be, touching the entire paper. That doesn't need to happen. Just kind of stab the board, cradle it so it feels comfortable, again, just like a pencil, and literally just slice, right? It is super easy. Okay, that's all it is. The key is this: if you find that like your paper, excuse me, if you find that paper is like ripping, if it's getting all flaky and stuff, that means that either A, you need a new blade, like I mentioned, or B, you're holding it at like a funny angle and you're trying to make it happen, and that's really dangerous. Because what ends up happening is, as you're trying to force this blade, it's jumping all over the place. You could have your hands there and off comes a thumb. So be very careful. If you're forcing it, it could end very poorly. So again, stab, angle, slice, right? Now, because this is kind of a more like kind of a pencil-like tool, if you can make a smooth bend with a pencil, of course, you make a smooth bend with an Exacto Blade, so you kind of get this curvature, and you can get some pretty fine shapes, right? Something I'm going to throw out to you is this. Two things you want to remember whenever you're using Exacto Blade, right? Number one is never cut toward yourself, and number two is always cut toward yourself. Okay, all right, so it doesn't make any sense, right? Bear with me. Okay, here's what I mean. So let's say I wanted to get a teeny tiny, here, I'll draw it real quick. Let's say I want to get like a really small little hole, and I want to cut that out. I'm making a fish, or like a snail. Okay, so I wanted to cut this little tiny hole out, right? Okay, well maybe, again, I draw holes. I know how to do this, so I'm going to stab, I know that, angle my hand, and then I'm going to start cutting, and I turn this blade, and it's kind of hard to, I'll just put my fingers here, and kind of hard, and I might cut myself, and that's not good, right? So here's what I mean. A, never cut toward yourself. What I mean by that is fingers of the opposite hand. If you're left-handed, obviously I mean your right hand. If you're right-handed, I mean your left hand. Whenever you're cutting, right, be observant of where your fingers are, because if for some reason this thing like skips or pops or you slip and then off comes a thumb, don't lose a thumb, right? All you need to do, literally, it's really easy. All you need to do is just be aware. Don't put anything behind the blade. You can put it literally right on top. Nothing's going to happen to it here. This is like super safe mode, right? Back here, crazy dangerous. Up top, A-okay, right? Just be aware of where your other hand is. At the same time, always cut toward yourself in the sense of my body is kind of positioned back this way, right? You don't want to cut like this way. I'm trying to like pull it and it's just so awkward. Like you would never hold a pencil like this. It doesn't make any sense, right? Hold it so that it's comfortable. You've been writing with a pencil for years, some very poorly with bad, writing abilities. Yana. Okay, so, oh sorry, that's reading. No, sorry. So anyway, kind of cut, stop, turn the paper, cut again, stop, turn, stop, and look, oh my gosh, so adorable, little snail, or like a, I don't know, like half of a mask for a squid. A whale.
It is a whale.
Okay, so lots of cool stuff to learn. Now, there's a couple other things to think about. A, again, remember, always cut on a cutting board, always cut on a table, right? A lot of people, I'm going to zoom out here real quick. A lot of people forget sometimes because what they might do, here's my lap, what they might do is they say, oh, I'm going to cut on a cutting board, but you know what, I'm just really comfortable, so I'm going to kind of cut over here in my lap like this. Now, I had a sculpture teacher once, just once. I had a sculpture teacher, and that sculpture teacher told me what I'm about to tell you. I, as a teacher, am supposed to tell you never cut on your lap toward yourself, right? But, as my sculpture teacher once told me, I'm not going to tell you that. Because you know what? That problem's going to work itself out real quick, right? If we need to end a couple, legacy lines, maybe you're not able to have kids anymore. You know what? In the long run, genetics will work itself out, okay? So, yeah. Now, the last thing I'm going to say is this, and this is ultra important, so again, just please take 10 seconds to pay attention, okay? All right, so let's say, for my my stencil here, let's say that I am doing, I'm writing the word Camden, okay? That would make perfect sense. And one of the letters in Camden is the letter A. So I'm going to block in my letter A. We've been doing lettering throughout the past couple weeks now, so you guys should be pros at this. So I'm going to block it in. Here we go. Letter A. And now again, I can choose a different font. You guys know how to draw out different fonts. But again, you still kind of start with your basic form. Okay? Like so. All right? And then I'm going to do another letter A over here just for the sake of example real quick. Now, I'm going to show you, we're going to call this one our problem. We're going to call this one our good one. Okay? So let's examine the problem. Here's the problem whenever you're cutting out a stencil, right? It seems like it makes perfect sense. I know how to angle the blade. I know if it skips, it's not good. I know to turn the page here. Here we go. I can turn it around. This is, man, I paid attention to that demo that Mr. Kozak did, and I am a super, look at how clean these lines are. Oh my gosh, I can make stencils all freaking day long, right? Nothing is going to go wrong. It is going to be great. I'll give you a clue, spoiler alert, this one's not going to work out very well. Okay, you ready? Watch, I just cut it out. Here it comes. Oh, man. Oh, crap. Oh, shoot. All right, now wait. I can fix this. So I cut this, the hole here. In case you're wondering, I don't know if you guys know this. We've been talking about literacy a lot. We've been talking about font and typography. There's a name whenever you have a hole inside of something. Specifically, this letter. Does anyone know that? It's an a-hole. See what I did that? It's an a-hole. Anyway, so. Here's the problem. This would theoretically work. But now I've got two pieces. You know what's going to happen. This thing, gone. And now I've got a weird triangle TP looking thing. Not a letter A. Now, theoretically, I could use this letter A. That would work. Although it would give me kind of a negative, right? It's going to show it's going to cover the background color I'm painting around it. Again, not bad, but not really what we want. So again, this, gone. So we need to figure something out. So let me ask you very quickly. I want to make a right one, right? I want to make this really good, and I want to make it work. What am I going to do? What do I need to keep this center a-hole in place?
You need like two little connectors.
Like a little connector, right? I'll tell you the truth. I don't even need two. I need one, at least. I need a little bridge, right? If I am a car and I'm driving around and I want to get to Little Island, right? I need a bridge to get to the island, right? So I'm going to make a little bridge, right? And now when I go through, again, keeping in mind, watch my thumbs, right? Here we go. 1, 2, turn the paper. Notice I'm doing nice, clean strips. Taking my time, of course. Okay, took me about a grand total of 3 seconds. And there is my letter A, right? So, again, this is going to be much more of a professional style. Now, again, the challenge for you guys is going to be, what font type do you choose? That's going to be the challenge, right? You can go really, really advanced and do a lot of kind of cool curls and bends. Maybe this one's got these little feet things. What are these feet things called? I've forgotten. Serifs, totally. It's like we are having a test later in the week. Weird. So I can throw in some cool serifs. Look at that. Super easy. There we go. Maybe like, oh man, maybe this serif has like a weird hat on it for like, I don't know, Christmas time. It's like a Santa serif. Right? Yes. Oh, yeah, I could do flames. Oh, man. All right, check it. So here we go. All right, maybe this one's kind of bursting forth a little bit. Again, watching my fingers, of course. Always watching those fingers. Always watching those fingers. Always watching. Okay, so you get the idea. Now I've got an A on fire. Right? Now, totally, right? If your a-hole's on fire, you have problems. So, that's true. Watch out for Taco Bell. So, again, remember, please, when you're doing your lettering, before you start cutting with the Xacto Blade, right? Please take your pencil, take 3 seconds, and make sure there's little land bridges here so that we can have a nice peninsula. Okay? Cool? Good on that? Any questions? All right. So that is that.